Ping people, let them know I'm in here. Hey, hey. So y'all, I'm for the most part done doing the live streams. But this was kind of just put on my heart today. And I think it's important because even though I feel a certain way, I have certain harsh feelings. I have bad feelings. I have I mean, I have personal issues about this space and what it has become. And I've been very clear about it. But in case you guys don't know, I will be very clear with what my issues are. And I think it's important. I'm gonna probably keep this live up, and I'm going to say what I need to say. And this will be in the BWE playback list, the archives that Kendall and I put together going back, I think, all the way to 2016. So here is the problem that I have with divestment. Why am I bringing this up now? And why do I think that it's important? Because I need to do a video where I'm very clear, where people don't have to go to Clubhouse and piece together information. They don't have to get clips of other things. I want to be very clear in this communication with you, my problem that I have with the current crop of divestment. And I want to talk about why I disengaged from the group of women. This is, of course, all my opinion. You can take it or leave it. It's entirely up to you. You are, and all of you are adults, I'm assuming, and you can, take with it what you want to. I personally think that much of the divestment conversations have become a cortisol-inducing session where it's like ambulance chasing. You're chasing the next outrage of what the fuck Black men said today, last week, last month, what they're going to say next week. And the anger of all of it is permeating everything. It's permeating all the conversations. And it is becoming a tit for tat, in that some people in the space want to mirror what the manosphere are doing in this space and what they have been doing for over a decade. Now, I understand why that is. Black men in the space, many of them have said horrible, awful things about Black girls and women, pretty much unregulated for the most part, for a decade. And many of the young women who are in this space were young, very young, when they were introduced to it. Some of them were just looking for videos about how to do twist outs on their natural hair. They just want to know how to do that. But then you had a Tommy Sotomayor who would put tags of natural hair tutorials and Afro hair tutorials so that his videos would populate in these innocent girls who were just trying to figure out their hair. And so they were brought into a rabbit hole of hatefulness, disgusting hatefulness that they didn't even know existed. They didn't even know that Black men, the reflection of them, the male reflection of them, thought that any of them would think this way about them. And many of them would reach out to me privately and say, when I would see a Tommy Sotomayor video, when I saw these things, I had no idea that Black men felt this way. I felt like I wanted to die. I was like, if we're so horrible and nobody else wants us, what's the point? There was real damage that was done to Black girls and women. And it's been a generation of it. 10 years is a generation. It's been a generation of it. So again, I understand the pushback from it. I understand wanting to meet the same energy. But what I've been trying to say this whole time is that for women, you're not going to get the same result. You can't match a man's energy when it comes to hatefulness. They're always going to outdo you. You're never going to be able to match them point for point and then have a widespread respect of what it is that you're trying to do, because you're different. You're different. You're a woman. I didn't make the rules. I just know what they are. And so as a woman, when you are trying to bring attention to something, whether it's Black femicide, whether it's the disrespect, the massive disrespect of Black girls and women, when you're trying to call attention to the homicide rate, which in February this year, we already have 160. I talked to Rosa, the founder of Black Femicide, today, and she said last year was at like 120, and now we're at 160. You're going to need allies. You're going to need allies outside of the community of divestment to listen to you, to want to align themselves with you, to want to take up your cause. But you know what's not going to happen? What's not going to happen is when you publicly call Black men apes, gorillas, nakers, niggas with the hard ER, bullet bags, et cetera, ad infinitum, what's going to happen is this. The people who are able to affect the change, the people who can actually help you, the people who have the power to make things different are going to see you as a pariah. They're going to see you as a pariah because if they align themselves with you, they're going to have to answer for you. And say, for example, DeSantis, the governor of Florida, or a Ted Cruz, any number of conservative congressmen or senators who may have a heart for this, who may feel for you. If they take up the cause, they're going to have to answer for you calling Black men nakers, gorillas, bullet bags, it's not going to be a good look for them, because inherently politicians are about self-interest. And so this is a game of self-interest when it comes to public policy, when it comes to, okay, how are we going to get the word out? It has to do with appearance and impression management. And nobody's going to want to have to answer to that. They're not going to want to have to explain to their white colleagues at the Republican dinner about divestors who call Black men bullet bags, and how are we going to, as white men, as white women, stand behind a cause where they're saying these things. So we got to just sit it out. I brought that to the attention months ago to a group of divestors who were trying to make me be the face of it. And I refused to be the face of it, and here is why. I refused to be the face of it because they would not listen to me. They wanted me to be the sacrifice. They wanted me to put my face forward while they were calling Black men nakers, bullet bags, gorillas, all of the things that they did. They wanted me to take the hits while they hid behind cartoon characters and avatars, while at the same time having utter contempt for the fact that my experience as a communication specialist, as a public relations person, as a person who has worked with policy people, who worked for a company that represented countries like Dubai, who has mentors, who has represented major oil corporations, senators, congressmen. They had no respect for my advice. They just wanted me to be the lackey. They just wanted me to be the front man to take all the hits while they sat back to be cartoons. And I said, absolutely fucking not. And I have become the pariah in this sector. Now, is that to say that I haven't done things wrong? Yeah, I have. I've made missteps. Yes, I have. But if you look at my body of work and who I am as a person, the totality of who I am, how many women in this space have written a book that was published by Simon & Schuster, which, by the way, is also the publisher of people like Michelle Obama and Stephen King, who's owned by Viacom, who had their book optioned for a movie. How many divestors in this space have been on CNN and HLN? How many divestors in this space have done a viral campaign called No Wedding, No Womb that was tweeted 100,000 times in one night, was carried by the Associated Press, Essence Magazine, Ebony, Chicago Tribune. I've been on the covers of magazines. I've been in Maclean's, and I get zero fucking respect from the women in this community. Zero respect. I have done more than any of you in this space. I have put my neck out as a public figure for this cause more than anyone. There is nobody. And when I say nobody in this space that has done what I have done, there isn't. And yet I have been maligned. I have been lied on. I've had women turn their backs on me, women who said that they were cool with me for years, and then all of a sudden something new and shiny comes along and I'm trash. But you know what? The history books will be kind to me, because how many of these cartoon characters have books with citations from the work that they've done, or scholarly articles that have work that they have done. I have been that. And I'm not saying that to brag. I'm saying that to say to you, I have been a foot soldier for this. And I cannot stand to see what it has become. It has become a coon party where Black women are sitting on the front porch, just insulting, cackling, doing the same stuff that they did when they were in Blackistan, but they're doing it here. And that is not really what divestment is about. You're not divested. If you're taking your same ratchet mentality and you're just transferring it to another, you're not divested. If you say to a woman, if you talk to a Black man, if you have any relationship with a Black man, if you have a Black son, you're not truly divested. That is some dumb shit. And I'm going to tell you why it's dumb shit. It is so simplistic. It's like you got this tool and you're like, I got a hammer. I got a hammer. It's this new tool. I got a hammer. And everything looks like a nail. And if you have a hammer and that's the only tool you got, everything looks like a nail. So you can't see the forest from the trees. Your binary thinking of, I don't have to think, as long as he's a Black man, he's bad. Anything that's not Black, that's not a Black man is good. I'm going to be okay. You're an idiot. Because divestment does not mean you follow a binary type of philosophy where there is only Black and white and there is no shades of gray. When you are a divested person, you are putting self first, and you are also doing what is best for you as a person. That means nobody can freaking tell you who you can or cannot align yourself with. That is contrary to divestment. How the fuck are you going to tell somebody that they can't talk to, be with, commune with, have any kind of relationship with anybody, and yet call yourself a divestor if divestors means you get to do what the fuck you want to do? You don't set the rules. The rules are in divestment is that there are no rules and you can do what the fuck you want to do. So these people in here in this space who are saying, who are claiming to be the arbiters of what is divestment and what is not divestment, because who you talk to, who you associate with, what gender of baby that you have, who you're on a Clubhouse room with, who you're on a YouTube channel with, they don't get to decide for you what you are. That's some bullshit. How are you going to call yourself sovereign if you're going to listen to somebody who's a cartoon character telling you you're not divested because you're talking to a Black man on Clubhouse? Huh? Listen, or calling people mammies. How fucking dare you call me and Kendall mammies? Are you serious? You were picking your nose and eating your boogers when we were doing this stuff. And I got the proof. If you look on my playlist, you will see it. Many of you who weren't picking your nose and eating your boogers were attacking us. That's what you were doing. Thank you for the super chat. You were attacking us and saying something totally different. Now, because it is financially and socially expedient for you to do so and safe for you to do so, now you're saying something different. And you want everybody to pretend you didn't say what the fuck you said. And my mistake was that I was trying to be kumbaya with some of y'all when I should have said, fuck you. No, there's no forgiveness. I don't forgive you. I remember what you did, and it is what it is. That was my mistake, and I didn't do it. I take it back. Thank you, Ro. I take that back. I take back my kumbaya. Fuck you. Because you're only in this so you can get your rent paid. Because bitch, 4 years ago, you were running behind the manosphere talking about me having slave hair. This is the hair that comes out of my head. That's what you said. So I don't forgive you. And there is no bygones to be had. So yeah, I got a problem. And my mistake was I didn't say so. That was my mistake. That was my mistake. Y'all are being led by a bunch of people who are getting into the game really late, who weren't here to take the hits, who weren't here to have their family put on display, who had their whole information be doxxed, to be humiliated and dragged from one end of the internet to the other side of the internet. They came and they strolled in after they contributed to the bullshit we had to endure. And some of you guys are so weak-minded, it doesn't even matter to you that they did these things. And that's okay with me. And I'm going to tell you why it's okay with me, because I no longer care. I don't care. I no longer want to connect with anybody on YouTube. I don't want to. And in fact, the reason why I'm doing this right now is because I got one foot out. The end of the year, my plan is to leave. I'm done after 2022 because I got an exit plan. Because what I see that is happening in this space is such a sacrilege and is such a wasted opportunity and is such a shitting on of what people who came before you, who did the work, who took the risk. And I have done what I can do, and now I'm done. You can have it. This is why I can say what I'm saying, because the end of this year, I'm out of here. I got a plan B. I have an exit strategy. You can have it. But what I am seeing right now is heartbreaking. And the fact that so many of you think divestment is all about being able to call Black men the N-word with the hard ER, you are a damn fool. That's not what it's about. And all the tools you have is a hammer. And you are dumb as shit. And you are deliberately ignorant. You are willfully ignorant. You want to be ignorant. You just want to be part of a club so you can be a mean girl. And you don't even have the foresight to look past a year, 2 years, and 10 years and look at if divestment becomes a bunch of cartoon characters with women cackling and cacawing about calling Black men bullet bags. What do you think the benefit will be at large for Black girls and women? Do you think it's really going to change? Do you think anybody's going to want to come to you with a 10-foot pole? Do you think that? Then if you think anybody who has any power is going to do that for you, you are a fool. You are an absolute fool and you deserve whatever foolishness the world has coming for you. But many of you guys are ignorant and willfully so. So I'm gonna let you have it. But I will say this, as the sun sets on my tenure here, you can say whatever you want about me, but nobody in this space has done what I've done. You can say I'm crazy. I might be. Hell, I am crazy. To have dealt with this as long as I have, I must be crazy. Nobody has done what I have done, and you're never going to take that away from me. No cartoon character sipping on a cup of tea is going to take that away from me. You will never have what I have. You will never do what I do because you are too much of a coward to do what I have done. So whatever you say about me from this point on, say what you want to say. You're never going to be who I am. And when I close my eyes for the last time, I know I made a difference. I know I made a difference. I made a difference in divestment, the very community that discarded me, that said I'm a mammy and I'm not worthy of the community. I'm the reason you're having these conversations, bitch. And let me tell you something else. Interracial marriage for Black women was at 9% until I wrote a little book called Swirling, and it's up 33%. And you can't tell me that I didn't have a say in that. So whatever you want to say about me, whatever roast video you do, whatever community tab you do, whatever Discord, whatever you do, know this: you'll never be and do who I am and what I have done. Never. And here's the last thing I'm going to say. Even if you don't like somebody, even if you fall out with somebody, that doesn't mean that you discredit them and try to destroy them. Khadijah Nassif, she had a blog called Sojourner's Passport and Muslim Besito. She and I fell out. She did. She had assumptions about me. They weren't true, but she has a very specific, she has a very distinct thought process. And there was nothing I was going to do to dissuade her. So she and I fell out. That's okay. That does not discount her brilliance. That does not discount what she has done for this movement. And so even if you don't like somebody, and I'm going to be this example today of what it looks like to be a mature adult, what it means to not be some hood booger who's just using one theme from one thing to the other without really going deep into it. I'm going to give you an example of what it looks like to have respect for a person, even if you don't agree with them, even if you fall out with them. So Khadijah Nassif, if you Google her, you'll see she has some not nice things to say about me. I don't have anything not nice to say about her. I think she's brilliant. I think she and Kendall, Cola Booth, there are some people in this modern world of divestment and in this space, no matter what they do, no matter what they say, whether they want to ever have anything to do with me or not, it doesn't matter, because what they do supersedes that, because their work is more important than how they feel about me or how I feel about them. So yeah, she don't like me, but you know what? I'm going to say this. For people who really want to know what divestment is, Because divestment isn't just about not talking to Black men. It's not just about not dating Black men or marrying Black men. That's bullshit. It's not even true. That's not what the founders, at least, of divestment, that wasn't even in the conversation. This book, The Sojourner's Passport, is available on Amazon. It's available on Kindle for $5. And if you really want to start a true divestment journey, where you're not just indulging your anger, where you're actually trying to affect some change, look this up. And this is what maturity looks like. Even though she doesn't like me, even though we fell out, she's brilliant, and you deserve to know who she is, because what she did was important and you need to know it. And there is nothing in this book about not dating Black men at all. There's nothing in this book. This woman is the pioneer of the online divestment space. Hands down, inarguably. There's not one single line in there about that. What she does say is, you don't align with people, you align with principles. And that's what I want to leave you with. What I'm seeing right now is a lot of people aligning with people, groups, and not principles. Align with the principles. There are Black men who align with your principles. There are Black women who align with your principles. There are white women who align with your principles. There are Hispanic women. There are many people who align with your principles, who can be allies to you, and you need to be strategic if you really want to affect the change and not just want to get your shit off. Because let's just be honest, if you just want to get your shit off and be a bunch of hyenas sitting on the porch, that's one thing. But don't sit up here and say you're doing this to save lives, because you're not. Don't use somebody else's blood, sweat, and tears to justify alienating other people who might be able to come into this space and make a difference. Don't you fucking dare. Somebody says, you do know you don't owe the community anything. A lot of these spaces offer no real solutions besides keeping Black women in the loop of anger. Absolutely. Thank you, Miss Seeley. Yeah. And this is what I'm saying. If you want to be in the loop of anger, you go ahead. I'm hoping, and this is going to be something that I know there's only going to be a few people who listen to the sound of my voice and listen to this video, who is going to affect. Everybody else is going to go back to their corners, because that's how we are. We're very tribal. We're going to go back to their corners. They're going to try to start some mess. I'm not interested in starting some mess. When I tell you that I am free of you, when I'm free of anything, I don't want to have anything to do with you, are repellent to me. The same way you think you feel about Black men is the same way I feel about some of you. So no matter what you say, in response to this, I don't care. What I am hoping is that there will be somebody, other women who are on the journey and want a true journey of divestment, and not just these cortisol spikes and wasting time and caca and kikiing and being a bird, and actually want some change. That's who I'm speaking to. That's who I care about. Everybody else, you can go straight to hell. I don't give a shit. This is where I am on this. And forever, for those who have ears, let them hear. And those who don't, let them fall off a fucking cliff. That's how I feel. But if you want to know the real, start here. I also have a section on my channel of vintage BWE discussions that I had with Kindle. And that's not even all of it, but that may give you this book along with that. may give you some insight, because right now you're in a situation where the blind is leading the blind. Ellen says, this is why I respect you. Since I have begun watching, you have always had the same message. The right man for the job. You are, Jim. Thank you. I've never, unlike other people who now you glorify and worship. Hold on a second. My boyfriend's like, why are you not answering my call? I'm about to get off. I got to get off. If you really mean it, the information is going to be for you. If you don't, just carry on in the way that you've been carrying on. It really is that simple. I no longer have an attachment to you because you have shown me who you are. You are a bunch of ugly high school bullying, nasty girls who never got picked in school. And you're just in that, you are still in that. And I am not interested in that. What I am interested in are intellectual people who understand that they need to seek out information and then synthesize that information and nuance it and not be binary and absolute and black and white in their thinking. And I also need people in my circle who are forward thinking, who really understand that the consequences of doing certain things may feel good to you at the time, but in the long run, it's not only going to hurt you, but it's going to hurt the people you claim that you want to help. If nobody's going to want to touch divestors because you're all over the place, just like the manosphere now is getting that bad press, like Elle magazine and all of that, that's going to be us. That's going to, no, that's going to be you. That's not going to be us. That's going to be you. That's going to be you. Nobody is going to want to touch you, yet you claim to want to be saving lives. No, you don't. If you wanted to save lives, then you would learn how to control your tongue. You would learn how to control your anger. You would be more strategic. You would be more politic in the way that you move, but you don't. You want to fuel the anger so you can get paid. So get your money, sis, but understand that what you're doing in the long term is going to hurt a lot of Black girls and women. And if that's okay with you, you like it, I love it. But I and others who are really about this life, we're going to do what we can. We're going to be like that movie, The Kingsman. I don't know if you guys saw it. Small group of people who try to make a difference just quietly. Because folks like out there want to do something different. So that's all I want to say. I hope I have made myself clear. Now you can go back and do what you were doing before. But I said what I said. I don't need to say anything else. It's your funeral, divestors.